plaintiff, John Wolf, says he was married to the defendant for 19 years until she cheated with John's friend. John claims the defendant is still with his friend, and he is with the defendant in court today. John suing his ex-wife for an impound fee. Defendant Amy Wolf and her boyfriend Frank Watala say during the last 12 years of Amy's marriage to John, John cheated on Amy 9 times. Amy claims she caught John on webcams with other women. And then she found an ad he posted online looking for sex with no strings attached. She's countersuing for emotional distress.
Start with you.
I was with this woman for 19 years. She cheated on me with my friend.
You saw that, or she told you, admitted?
She went to pay a friend of hers her cell phone bill, and she didn't show up until 3 o'clock in the morning. I went out looking for her.
Maybe there was a long line.
Yeah, might have been.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't make light. I'm sorry, I shouldn't make light of it. All right, so.
I'd like to interrupt for a second.
Go ahead.
We were married for almost 19 years, but for the last 12 years of our marriage, he cheated on me 9 times.
How were you caught 9 times?
Your Honor, what she's saying is cheating was looking at pornographic websites or being on an adult chat site.
Or signing up for adult
Dating sites.
friend finder sites, dating sites, webcam sites.
Craigslist. Maybe he was looking for a cell phone on those things.
Or he did sign up, he did post ads on Craigslist.
So you consider
I did consider
9 times catching him on the internet, you consider having caught him 9 times cheating?
He was interacting with other women on webcam, both of them. I'm hoping you get the gist of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yep. So yes, I did consider it cheating, so.
Cheating on himself at least.
Yeah.
For sure. How does this go to your friend though?
Well, I went out and I was looking for her, and I couldn't find her. I suspected that they'd been talking back and forth, and I noticed that she would hide the phone once in a while or turn it away when I was looking at it. So I suspected something was going on. Then on January 1st, she was 3 days prior to that, she left and needed to figure things out. Said that she had to get things straightened.
Okay, I'm gonna interrupt again. Why did I need to figure things out? In October, I found text messages and emails between him and 2 of my acquaintances that I knew personally.
Of your friends?
Yes.
Saying what?
They were talking sexual. They were talking about hooking up. They were talking about getting together without letting me know.
Is that true?
We were talking about different things, yes.
Did she?
Yeah.
Did she know you were talking to her girlfriends?
Well, it was her sister-in-law.
Did she know?
No,
I knew they were
no.
talking. I didn't know it was sexual until the middle of October.
What do you think they were talking about?
Well, they're supposed to be family. There's kids all together. Everybody used to get together all the time for things. I didn't know. Then I went onto his email and found out that he had posted an ad on Craigslist when he was out of town for work with his hotel name, room number, and his cell phone number for no strings attached sex.
You found that?
I found that.
And
in
he
his
admitted
email.
to it?
He admitted to it because I found it.
Did you?
Yeah.
You should have left this cheating subject alone. Why did you mention this? Lord have mercy. Go ahead, sir. So what else you want me to know other than she caught you cheating 9 times and you caught her once?
Well, and on January 1st, she admitted that she had been sleeping with him for a month and a half. Mm-hmm. And then...
Yeah, she caught you in October.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to him.
No, you were trying to sleep with them. Talking to them about what? You were talking to them sexually, like she said, and you didn't deny it. Sir, that you are something else. That's all I'm going to say, that you are something else. I'm not going to call you name. If this was Judy, she would call you a bunch of names. You better be glad you didn't go in front of Judge Judy. All right, so... what do you want to say, ma'am?
Well,
beyond what you've said already.
Just that I did put up with this for many years. I did start talking to a guy that he worked with. First, it was about my marriage and his baby mama drama. Then things progressed. When I found out about the text messages and the postings on Craigslist, I took my wedding rings off. I was done. There was no marriage as far as I was concerned. I just didn't know how to go about doing anything as far as ending it because I'd been with him since I was 17. So I left, or I didn't leave yet. January 1st, he found out. January 10th, yes, I put our truck in the ditch. We were married. The truck was in both of our names. It was what it was. I ended up with a DUI because I was on medication from having surgery 2 months before that.
All right, so what does it have to do with the impound? I suspect she was driving your car and it was impounded.
It was impounded.
What happened?
I got a call from the sheriff that night to come pick her up because she'd been arrested. The next day, I had to get a hold of my sister and have her take me over and get the car and pay for it. And I agreed to pay my sister back. Amy agreed to pay me back.
No, I didn't.
Pay it back to my sister.
Okay, and you all were still married?
At the time.
All right, so
But the marriage was over as of January 1st.
All right, but at the time you all were married?
Yep.
So you're saying you all made an agreement to give each other your own money?
To pay me back, to pay my sister back.
Pay herself back. Marital assets are joint assets. Regardless of who worked, it's joint assets. I mean, my wife hasn't worked in 15, 16 years, but believe me, these assets are joint. And when folks come to me for thousands of dollars, I have to ask her because that's her money too. I can't say, well, I make the money, so I'm going to do what I want with it. She said, I know you make it, but that's some of mine. In fact, I believe if we go to court, that judge going to say half of it is mine. What do you have to say about this? You going to say the same thing I just said, no doubt.
Pretty much. Basically the same thing, other than if he really expected me or thought I was going to pay him this money, in our divorce decree, which he signed twice, there's nothing in here that says that I'm going to give him any money. Okay. He read all the paperwork. He signed it.
You have it there?
I do, sure do.
Sir, what do you say to that? She's right. It was to be handled in the divorce. If the judge doesn't mention it and you don't mention it, then you have no legal standing. So I suggest you just keep it moving and let this go. All right. What's the emotional distress for?
Well, going back to the beginning, he started cheating on me 5 years into our marriage.
Come on, now. Is that what you asking for?
No. That's not what I'm asking for. So that started then. This last year and a half since we've been...
Since the divorce.
Since we've been split up.
All right.
Our divorce was final in August. Mm-hmm. His friend and I moved in together in June of last year. Our 2 kids live with me. We support them. When he comes to pick up the kids, all there is arguing and fighting about...
With whom? You?
Between him and I, yes. Mm-hmm. It's very distressing. I have to try and get my kids to understand that, Dad does love them, but they don't go to Dad's house very often. That I have to try and make sure that they understand that just because we got divorced doesn't mean that he's not their parent, that I'm not their parent. But all they hear and all they see is arguing and fighting.
I object, Your Honor. Mm-hmm. When I go down there, she starts the fight usually.
What you're describing is things that are quite ordinary. And emotional distress is only granted for extreme and outrageous conduct that is extraordinary and rarely happens, or is so extraordinary that one should be compensated for it. This is not an extraordinary act. It's very common when folks divorce that there's friction after divorce, whether it's about the kids, or whether he owes you alimony and hadn't paid his alimony on time, whatever it might be. That's the consequence of divorces. And so folks who divorce need to project that may be the case. Sometimes the kids won't speak to you at all. And they say, well, no, you cheated on mama 9 times on that internet. And so we're done with you. When you say, well, she cheated with my friends, they might say, well, the internet is worse. So you the one really got to try to get along, Doc. Mama is everything, I can tell you that. Yours is dismissed. Ma'am, I can't grant you a judgment. Good luck to you both.
I want, from the beginning of the divorce, I wanted us to be friends and, get along and make it work with the kids.
But he just continues to argue and fight and throw things in my face that happened during our marriage. And the marriage is over. It needs to be dropped. It needs to be done.
Both of us are trying to get along with John. We don't want any of this stress. We don't need any of this stress in our life.